Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another workshop series, day 2 here today. I'm so excited to be back with you. And today we're going to talk about branding. Yesterday we talked about casting the vision, understanding how to connect the bigger dots in your company so that you are leading a self-led company that does more good in the world so that you can exit from, you can leverage it as your the legacy impact that you want to have, your purpose, your mission, or you can utilize it as the channel to be able to do philanthropy. Those are usually the three main purposes, so to speak, of a company that is self-led and independent that I've seen in my experience. Personally, at the phase and stage of life that I'm in, I've chosen to utilize my company, grow it to a self-led status, scale it so that it could be my legacy in the way that I live out my life's purpose and also my life's mission. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone that is joining slowly but surely. Just say hi in the comments. I would like to say hi to you for joining. Again, thank you for your time. I know you could be anywhere in the world right now. And the fact that you are here, I'm very, very grateful. So today we're going to talk about branding, and especially when it comes to building a self-led independent company, building your name, building your reputation, building or talking about why is it that your company exists beyond your services or your products in this case is very, very important. We all know we live in a world now where there's competition, right? In a physical world, there is a lot of other businesses doing exactly what you do. So it's very hard to stand out, right? Why is it that the consumers or your clients should choose you versus somebody else that might have a comparable product or service? They might have a comparable offer. They might have a comparable message like yours, right? So the problem with that, if we don't understand how to build a bigger vision and build a brand, is that we become a commodity. And when you become a commodity, people no longer see the difference between you and someone else. So you will be competing on price versus value. And that is the difference between just leading with your sales and your offer and leading with your brand. Um, Especially if you're looking to serve with a business model that is a high quality business model where you're looking to solve uh, not one to many, but one to few, which is the quality business model. Building a brand and getting your name, your personal name out there, and your company's name out there in the marketplace is crucial. Otherwise, like I said, you will be leading with price. And again, your potential consumer does not see the value as to why they choose you versus somebody else that offers exactly what you offer for cheaper. And when it comes to building a legacy company, you never want to lead with price. You never want to be a commodity. You want to connect to your soul clients. You want to build a soulful brand so that people that are connected to you are really seeing you, hearing you, touching your brand, all the things, all the five senses. I don't know if you remember yesterday, we talked about the five senses of intuition, which are not only applied to the CEO and the founder, but they're also applied to your market, your brand, the way that people perceive you, the way that people connect with you, the way that people connect with your values, your vision, and your mission. So it is very important to understand that when it comes to building something big, a big vision, and you want to be around for years to come, because if it's your legacy, then what else do you got to do? This is going to be your life's mission. It's important to understand that those things definitely connect together. So you definitely want to build a brand. So how do we build a brand? What are some of the physical, practical ways to be able to build a brand? Because it might sound like just theory sometimes, right? Well, what does it mean to build a brand? Well, look back at the brands that you love and trust, that you are connected to, whether they make you feel good about yourself, whether they meet your foundational needs, whether they are actually elevating your status, whether they are elevating your perception, the way that other people see you. These are the reasons why we buy and we spend maybe more money um, with a brand than when, versus if we're just to buy the same shirt, for example, from Walmart versus Nordstrom, right? So that is the difference between brand, because the second example has built better soulful marketing that they have connected so that they can raise their perception of their brand, but also they attach that to quality. That's why it's important to have your clear values, because if your value is quality, then you're going to build your brand on quality. So this is kind of how everything connects together, because they're supposed to connect together. If you're just working separate on separate, directions in your business, and they don't always align and connect, that's kind of where the problem is, and which is why I'm here to go take you through and guide you through these 5 days as to how all of these really build on each other, and they're not separate concepts or separate entities. So let's get back to that. How do we build a brand in a physical world, right? In a material world? Well, first, we got to understand who is our people. Who are the people that we want to serve? Where are they hanging out? And you got to go there. We got to go there. We got to go there, and we got to build and add value there, right? So back to our conversation with Walmart and Nordstrom. Walmart knows very well who their clients are and what their values are. So it's always a match made in heaven when your values align with your clients. Because at the end of the day, all the business is doing is matchmaking. The clients that have the problem that the business wants to solve with the solution that they're able to provide. So just I always like to think of anything like a good matchmaking session, meaning two people come together, one wants something, the other one has the what the other party wants, and there's always like a meeting of the minds, or a meeting of the values, or a meeting of the timing, or a meeting of the product and the service. So matchmaking in business and in life, so to speak, is very important, which is why I talk about human relationships all the time, because the foundations of anything that we do is always these human relationships that we are building. And really, business is just matching your product or service to the need of the consumer, right? I mean, we see this everywhere. We see this in the love relationship world, right? It's a match made in heaven between one person is looking for and what they're attracted to and their needs, and also what the other person can provide. It's the same in business. Business is a spiritual game, and it's a love relationship game. So all these things absolutely always connect together. So I don't want you to. Sometimes we get confused because we think that we're working on separate areas. But I've realized in my journey that all areas interconnect. There's always a common fundamental, and all the areas of our lives actually connect with one another. So back to practical advice on building a brand. Again, where are the people you hang that you want to serve? Go show up and serve. That's as simple as it is. Go show up and serve there. Add value. Don't think about selling. Don't think about what you can get from people. Um, think about what you can do to help. It's really that simple. And then beyond that is you being clear on your purpose, right? We talked about this yesterday, day one. What do you stand for? Why do you want to solve the problem you want to solve? How did your life journey set you up for that specific problem to be solved? Why do you feel passionate about that problem? Who are the people that you're calling on a journey with you, right? You're the hero, or they're the hero, I should say, and you're the guide, right? Your client is your hero, and you are the guide. So, how can you support the hero in their journey through your guidance? That's kind of how you want to take a look at how to serve, because you will know how to do it, right? I think that's kind of what I've learned with just my mission, humanizing business. It's it's really showing up to serve, and being clear on why you stand. Why do you do the work you do? Why is your company alive? What is its purpose? How is it going to grow and contribute towards others? What is it here to do in society? Let's look at the macro, right? When it comes to branding is really a big picture kind of game. Well, it's one of the puzzles in the game of business, right? So it's one of the big picture things that we want to take a look at. And then eventually we start to connect the dots backwards. But that's kind of what it is. Why are you here? What do you feel called to serve? That's the simplest exercise that I do with branding with companies, um, because everything that's simple, it's is a thing that we can implement. It's the thing that we can do to simplify our lives and our businesses. The harder things are, the more pieces we got going on, the more inner work we have to do with us not feeling good enough. And there's never enough. So I always take things back to the core. And for me, it's always the human condition. And then everything else gets built on top of that. And branding is not any different. So that would be one. The second piece of the puzzle with branding, practical advice now, obviously implementation advice, would be what are the channels that you find joyful to utilize to serve? Is it podcasting? Is it speaking? Is it social media accounts? Is it utilizing your platforms to serve? Is it emails? Is it text messages? Is it networking events? Is it ads? Is it word of mouth? Is it referral partnerships? These are all channels so that your brand shows up for people so people can see, right? They can see you and hear you and feel you and touch you and even smell you if you have a brand that maybe you have a product that is perfume, right? That could be a part of your branding. So if all of those things connect, then that's kind of how you know where you need to be, right? Where are the people they want to serve, and what is the right channels that light you up? For example, for me, I've always done podcasting because I that's how I started to learn about this whole world. I love the channel because it changed my life, right? So I do a lot of that. Or I'll do the speaking because that is my calling. That is, I realize I have a high intuitive inside on that, and that's my channel to share what I know. But you have your own, right? And I think that's the other thing because when it comes to all the ways now to build a brand, I think that's where the confusion happens. But the confusion will always happen if you don't have the other pieces in place. If you have your pieces in place, you'll know exactly what to do or where to go and how to show up. I think that's another big thing that people that confuses people. And then the other third component of anything is trust, right? Trust. Are you going to be there for me when I need you? Are you just here to sell to me? That's what your consumers and your brand fans are always thinking. Can I trust you? Do you care? Are you going to take care of me? Are you going to be able to provide the results you are promising? Right? So answering those questions and showing up. I mean, we all hear show up consistently, but you got to show up. I mean, you don't got to do anything actually. I'm working on a lot of my terminology myself, but do you want to show up to serve people and be consistent with it no matter what day it is, no matter what how you feel, no matter how people um, give you the recognition or the admiration you're looking for or the validation, right? If it's more ego led. Um, that's kind of the question that I always ask myself. If you're going to, if you, this is your life's mission, your life's work, and you've already clarified that, then you get to show up for you first, right? And then the impact's going to happen. Can't be the other way around. So the third leg, which is trust, which definitely builds a healthy long-term brand, is built over time, because in human relationships, it's not what we say, it's what we do. And we speak, that speaks highly. I've learned most of my things from my relationships from observing and the behaviors, right? That the people showed up, showed as I went through my journey, whether it was business or personal. So that's kind of the third base of branding, trust building, showing up no matter what. But that's kind of like my always my train of thought with that. I'm like, well, I got to show up. I love to show up for me because this is my mission. And whoever else shows up for me on the other end, I just can't control that. I mean, I'm not saying that we can be strategic, right? I mean, if you're not understanding how to do the rest of the pieces and you're showing up for one person every day, you want to know how to do that if your business model is one to many and you want to work more with quality versus quantity or vice versa, because it's really the two ways. You either work with quantity or quality. And at the different phases of stage of growth of your company, you will know what to focus on. And that aligns and that changes along the journey as well, right? You could start out with wanting to just serve so many people. And then through your own journey and alignment and all this work that I'm talking about, you realize that I'm very happy to serve a few people and let those people create the impact that I feel I want to make. Um, so it's always a work in progress. There's no such thing as any of these exercises in business are done day one of your company startup phase, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I now know my brand, what I stand for, how to do it, the strategy, the journey, all of those. This is always an ongoing work in progress because as humans, we are always a work in progress. We're always working on improving ourselves, healing ourselves, getting new clarity, gaining new tools, gaining new knowledge, gaining new inspiration, gaining new insight. And guess where that's all going to go? Towards your business. Um, so, yeah, those are the three main pillars of branding as they come to mind. Because my job, or at least my calling in this 5-day workshop series, is just to talk about the vision, right? Not the tiny little details of like, okay, let's post on social media, let's do all this physical world stuff, which it's full with information out there. Um, but my calling is to just share the vision behind how all these dots connect in business. So that's kind of what I felt called to share today around branding. So yeah, let me know. Three again, I think three inspired next steps implementation for tomorrow or for today based on our conversation today. I think that could be a good focus for you as well. So if you feel inspired, back to what you just heard today, to do three key things in your branding, then I think it served my purpose and your purpose to be here together today. So thank you so much for showing up for you. Thank you so much for showing up for me. I'm grateful, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to connect the marketing piece tomorrow, and you see how it's really not that different. It's just a continuation of the journey. That's all it is. Thank you so much for showing